So there we go, everybody. That was a brief showcase of what the buff powers can do with Aquatic Arsenal. As you can see, Rage comes in on top with Berserk, doubling the damage. Being transparent, my flute isn't maxed. It was only at 160 at the time, so I'm not even getting the additional chance for the 45% damage, which would only make it hit harder. So something to take into account there. Electric did well. For some reason, when I used electric with static, I wasn't getting good crits. I was actually getting less, which was pretty weird. Ice, shockingly, was fantastic. Just adding the ice elemental gave you such a great boost and buff, and then using Neo Venom boost, of course, just double that. Nature did well in wolf form. It did better than gorilla form by far. There was more crits, and it lasted longer than the gorilla form. And mental, it really wasn't worth using that supercharge if you don't use it as mental. It wasn't such a significant buff. You would be better off using Bat Swarm or Neo Venom Boost, honestly, if that's the way you're gonna go. Now, if you're not any of these powers, Neo Venom Boost definitely gives you a great boost. Bat Swarm does a little bit more because of the damage, but it doesn't last as long as Neo Venom Boost, so it's an option for you to figure out what it is that you want to do. Fireworks are going off in the background, not gunshots. I don't live in the hood right now. So with that being said, that's just the first look at it. But we also need to talk about something with Aquatic Arsenal. Aquatic Arsenal is not for every situation. Now, everyone knows if you're a DPS, you can't melee every situation. So I was trying out some things like, hey, let's see what we can do. Try out this water loadout, and jumped into an alert. And it was interesting. It was a really interesting run. So, okay, two of the teammates died in the very beginning, which could happen. So like, all right, cool. Let's see what we're gonna do. They didn't want to run a tank in the very beginning. So I'm trying on my loadout, seeing how it's going. I'm liking it, but you can see I'm not using Aquatic Arsenal, not in this rotation. So I'm like, you know what? This isn't gonna work. We already had one of the DPSs leave. I'm gonna just jump to tank and just do what we have to do, and I'll be able to test this in content later. But this is where it goes left, because I've noticed in this run that one of the DPSs was just dying. We weren't even in this instance that long, but every time something happened, they were just dying. The robots weren't being burned. Like, nothing was really going on. I'm like, what's going on here? And it wasn't until because I record a lot of runs, it wasn't until I watched this run back that I noticed what the problem was. First, I thought it was just that he was Rage and he just wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. That's not the problem. He bought out the event and he started using Aquatic Arsenal. And look what he's doing. He's just spamming it. Nothing around, I'm just gonna spam it. I'll get a hit some way, somehow. Not paying attention to what's going on, and guess what happens? He's dead. Where is he dead? Right by the boss. This was a consistent thing in this run. All he did was die. And when he died, he was right next to the boss. Again, dead. Where was he? Next to the boss. He didn't have any more revives. So this is not to shame him, but he had 7 deaths. Everybody else had 3. So it's not a shame situation, but it is a be careful situation. Don't run a melee loadout if you're not going to pay attention and know how to get away from danger. Especially in that instance, there's orbitals. People run magma. Magma can block, the screen. You might not see things that's going on, so you need to be mindful of what's going on. Yes, our Aquatic Arsenal is great. It's going to do great damage. It's going to change the game. Maybe make it a little bit too easy. But with that being said, you still have to do the things you have to do. And one of the things that you have to do if you're using it is pay attention of everything. Make sure that you're not going to wipe. Make sure you're not going to kill the run. Because the funny thing was that after his 7th time wiping, he left the group. He didn't just log off the game. Nope, he just left the group. Like the group was the problem when it was him dying and having people pick him up. So with that being said, it's really important to know Aquatic Arsenal is not for every situation. It's not going to be for you're going to do the most damage. You're not even going to melt things, because we didn't kill that boss. We never made it past there. It didn't melt because he was just spamming our Aquatic Arsenal just to spam it. I don't know what in the world he was doing, but he was just doing his moves, going across the whole screen like I seen in a little clip. I don't know if he was just stretching while he was doing it, but God only knows. So again, it's not to bash, but don't be like that guy. You don't want somebody to post you and be like, what is this guy doing? You have Aquatic Arsenal. You know, I should have been smoked. Nope, that's not what happened. So we should have got out of that run, because I've run with a lot of water pugs, and I don't think we've ever failed in that space right there. So with all that being said, you know, just be careful. Just realize what you're doing. This is a powerful augment, the water augment especially. So, you know what they say, the whole Spider-Man thing, with great power comes great responsibility. No, just watch what you're doing. Just don't be a jerk and kill the whole run because you want to try to be top DPS, because that's the opposite of what you need to do. It's a group game. In a solo, do whatever it is that you want to do, but don't kill the run because you're trying to burn but you're really not doing anything. So with that being said, guys, have a good one. I'm going to work on this fire Aquatic Arsenal video. It's actually pretty fun. I'm still upset about it, but we'll get into that in that video. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks everybody for watching.